Hello and welcome. My name is Nick Love with Love Racing, and here we're at Virginia International Raceway full course in the Global MX5 for Season 3, Week 11 of the 2023 season. We're going to go ahead and do a full speed lap, followed by a breakdown lap. We're going to look at turn by turn, braking markers, where to apex, that kind of stuff. Again, if you guys get any value from these videos, please go ahead and like and subscribe to the channel. Go ahead and comment and let me know, where you're struggling or if these guys help you at all. Alright, as we cross start finish, we're going to fully track right, and then we're going to slowly track left, keeping the steering wheel straight. We're going to look for the 1 marker, that's going to be our braking point. We're going to go down 4th all the way down into 1st, but we're going to be patient on that shift down into 1st. Back on throttle at the end of that bumper, and then we're going to stay tight here. You can see I clipped the grass a little bit, that we lost maybe a tenth or two there. Don't hug this one too tight, we want to make sure we get back over to the right. A little bit of braking, and then back on throttle at the apex. We can use all of the runoff on the right side of the track. Patience and a late apex here is going to help us because we want to get back on throttle and then stay on throttle throughout this whole next section. If you do find yourself having to lift, or you turn the steering wheel more than 90 degrees through that section, most likely you just turned in too early for the previous corner. Alright, now as we head towards the S's, the big point here is just keep the steering wheel nice and straight, try to scrub off as little amount of speed as possible. You really just want to provide the least amount of resistance to the steering wheel as you come up here. Alright, for the last S, we want to get all the way over to the right side of the track for South Bend. This is going to be one of the toughest corners on the track. It's just going to be a slight brake, turn in, hit the bumper on the inside, and then back on throttle. Alright, as we head up towards Oak Tree, we're going to brake right around the 1 marker. You're actually going to be able to brake a little bit later than you think you can, and there's a lot more track on the exit than what it looks like initially. You can use all the runoff on exit. As you practice in this week, make sure you just focus on the Oak Tree corner. That's going to be where most of the time is going to be gained, and it's really easy to kind of tighten that up, not use all the track on the entrance in the middle of Oak Tree, and then you don't get as much speed down the straightaway because of it. We're going to stay full track right here as we prepare for roller coaster. It's going to be a really hard braking zone. We're going to turn in at the 1 marker. We're actually going to get turned in, get the car pointed in the right direction, then get on the brakes. We're going to go all the way down into 2nd, and we're going to use the bumper on the inside as our reference point to get back on throttle. Alright, as we come down to Hog Pen, the final corner on the track, you're going to get all the way track left beforehand, use all of the bumper on the left, then all the bumper on the right. That's going to be a reference point to get back on throttle. That was one flying lap in the Mazda MX5 Cup car at VIR full course. Now we're going to go ahead and do another lap where we're going to look at more of the details. Alright, hugging the right side of the track as we approach turn 1. We're going to want to keep the steering wheel completely straight here. That way it tracks us out to the left. We're going to use the 1 marker as our braking point. So you see here, we're going to start lifting. We're going to get most of our braking done in a straight line. We're going to go downshift all the way down to 2nd, and then we're going to kind of trail brake in, then downshift into 1st. It's really easy to be impatient here. You want to go down to 1st too early. What it's going to do is it's going to get the rear end of the car to rotate a little bit, and you're going to scrub some speed off, and that's really going to slow you down. Okay, as we start easing back on the throttle, we're going to want to be full throttle by the time we get to the end of the curbing on the right. That's kind of going to be our reference point. We're going to hug the right as we get tightly back on throttle. You're going to want to make sure don't hit the grass here. That's why I did it. It cost me a couple tenths. You just want to stay kind of tight there and make sure you unravel the steering wheel pretty quickly. We're going to sacrifice a bit of time going through turn 2. That way we can set up a little bit better for turn 3, as we're going to carry a little bit more speed through here. As you can see, because I didn't leave enough space at the apex at turn 2, I couldn't get all the way back over to the right for turn 3. So that's going to compromise my entrance here. I'm going to actually be a little bit slower on the exit. We're going to stay in 3rd here, just a light dab of the brakes. There's not really a great reference there, but you don't need much brake. You just want to get a little bit of weight on the front tires. So as you're looking at which corners to prioritize practicing, turn 3 is probably going to be the 3rd most important corner on this track. So we're going to start braking right at the rubbered in section of the track. We're going to downshift into 2nd gear. Now you're going to be really patient here. You want a nice late apex on this curbing. If you have an early apex, that's going to push you wide to the right, and you're going to mess up the whole next section going up the X's. You're going to lose a lot of time. So our goal here is a nice late apex, and when you get back on throttle right on this curb, you're going to stay on throttle all the way up through the S's. As we go through Snake, really just keep it nice and tidy. Don't add any extra steering inputs here. Just try to keep everything as straight as possible. Same with the S's. Really our goal here is just don't scrub off any extra speed. So try to plan ahead, make your moves nice and slow, especially the final S, as you want to be fully track right before South Bend. As we crest the hill heading towards South Bend, luckily we have a really good reference on when to start braking. There's a slight dip in the road, kind of hard to see in the video, but when you're driving you'll know where it is. You really want to be really gentle on the brake here. We only want just a little bit of brake pressure. That's going to help rotate the car forwards. It's going to get a little bit of weight on those front tires and allow us to kind of turn in. For this corner to be fast, you're really going to need to commit. You're going to need to hit all the bumper on the inside. And you want to get back on throttle and trust that you're going to end up hitting the exit point correctly. As we head down to Oak Tree, we're going to want to get fully tracked left. We're going to want to look for the 1 marker, which is going to be a braking marker, and we're going to want to trail brake quite a bit into this corner. It's slightly uphill, so we're not going to need as much brake as we expect. We're going to shift down from 4th down into 2nd. We're going to want a little bit of trail braking, and this is where we got a kind of decision to make. This is going to be the most important exit on the track as it leads to the longest straight. For a purely fast lap, you're going to want to be moved over to the left here. That's going to open up that radius and allow you to carry more speed at the apex. The issue with that becomes, if you put a tire off in the grass there, you're carrying a lot of speed, you're going straight into that wall. We're going to want to make sure we get back to full throttle right at that apex curb and use all of that. That's going to push us out a little bit wide, but that's okay because we have plenty of runoff. Okay, we're going to fast forward through the straightaway. There's not much to do here. And then as we head down to roller coaster, we're going to start turning in right about the 1 marker. And we're going to want to stay on throttle, turn in, get pointed in the right direction. Then as we get a little bit closer, then we're going to start to brake. The reason being, you don't want to tell the front tires to be braking and turning at the same time. Okay, after that hard braking, down into 2nd, we're going to hug the right side of the corner, back on throttle, and now we're going to focus on the final corner of the track, hog pen. For our entry, we're going to want to get fully to the right side of the track, even on top of that bumper, and the end of that bumper is going to be our turn-in reference. We're going to stay on throttle, and the positioning here is going to be really important. We want to jump the curb on the left as much as possible without getting a 1 times. That's going to open up the entrance to the corner, and that's going to allow us to carry a lot more speed. We just need a dab of the brakes as we go over this, and then you're going to turn in, be patient, and then get back on full throttle right after that bumper, and then you just carry that all the way through the straight, stick all the way track right, try to minimize the distance traveled. Alright, that was 2 laps in the Global MX5 Cup car at Virginia International Raceway, full course. If you made it this far, let me know, just leave me a comment. I'm not sure if I should continue doing these really detailed dives or whether I should just do the full speed laps, so let me know. Thanks, I'll see you on track.